Future Proof is sponsored by Concordia Dental Healthcare, expert care you can trust.
Hello and welcome back from the break. You're watching Sarah Hopwood, Future Proof, the business television programme, talking about the future, what it looks like, and I'm delighted to say that I have Richard Talman with me in the studio, somebody I've known for many, many years, and it's amazing how blasts from the past can sometimes come into your life. And my husband was a partner with Richard's father-in-law, and it was actually through the recommendation that I went to Richard and had some jewellery made, and he has since serviced some jewellery. My mother's been to him with some jewellery, and in the first half he was talking about the training and inspiration that he had, and also the fact that he's mentoring, and I want to pick that up now in the second half about the way that he's working with his apprentice and about things that have influenced his life to help him get where he is. Richard, thank you so much for staying with me. Was the first half okay?
It was, yes.
It's quite relaxed in this studio, isn't it?
We'll let the viewers decide.
Yeah, cool. So I just wanted to say, first of all, in the first half we were talking about bespoke jewellery, and you were, and I did ask you about the machine making side of jewellery, and yes, you can go out and buy stuff, and it's not that buying stuff from a shop window is a bad thing.
Absolutely not.
When you have it bespokely made and designed, or certainly the interaction, the recommendation, then there is a very, very deep emotional relationship, if you like, with the thing, the ring, and I can speak for myself too on that. But you were trained by the best.
Yes,
you were inspired.
I think I was.
Yeah,
I was lucky.
Inspired by your father. What is it, values-wise or attitudes, what is it that these two people gave you, and if there's anybody else who really have given you nuggets of gold that have helped you in your life and your business?
Well, I guess a quote from my dad many years back: if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. That's always stuck with me. And most certainly when you are making jewellery, everyone has a bad day. Everyone who does everything sometimes does something that isn't as good as previous times. But what you've got to remember is this isn't just, this isn't a sandwich. This is an item which hopefully will go on to last many years. And if the item that you've just made is not up to scratch, all you're ultimately doing is just passing off something substandard, which is going to be holding quite a lot of memories or sentiments for someone. I was always taught that unless the job was perfect, it wasn't leaving the workshop. My old boss used to say to me, "You're only as good as your last job," and I've indeed taught that to my apprentice, who's now not an apprentice anymore. He's been with me many, many years, and when anyone looks at a piece of his work, it mirrors exactly what my boss had taught me and what I've taught him, to try and make everything perfect.
And you worked with your dad. And, as you say, as a young lad, you didn't do the football stuff. No. You actually worked, and it was metalwork,
yes, just sheet metalwork, nothing too intricate, but certainly he had me sort of gas soldering in the garage at a younger age than 10. Nothing too intricate, but just getting me around the basis of metalwork and how it occurs.
So did he give you, was there creative thinking involved in that then?
Not quite so much creative on my dad's side. The creativity when he was making things was mathematical. He spent his life making brewing vessels. We was talking purely down to specification and measurements. Whereas when you're making a piece of jewellery, it's not quite about the measurements. Obviously things have got to fit and everything's got to fit right, but the ultimate guideline is, does it look good? And if it doesn't look good, its purpose in life has failed.
Yes. And that does tie up with emotional intelligence and different intelligences. And there's one that's called aesthetic intelligence. And I'll never forget working with a business once, and they were going through a difficult time, and they wanted to take massive flower pots away from their forecourts because it was all too expensive. And straight away I questioned. I said, what about the aesthetic intelligent customer that is actually drawn in by your flower pots? to then see the car, and you take the flower pot away, they are more likely to walk past, and so aesthetic intelligence is absolutely key. So you have this apprentice, he's been with you for years. What, I suppose, values, maybe he's taught you some stuff. Often we do learn from people who are apprentices. But, for example, if it's not worth doing it well, then it's not worth doing kind of stuff. What other values have you instilled in him in the workshop? So, for example, errors, to report errors, or has he taught you anything? You've watched him and thought, oh, that's interesting.
I think, as with anyone, we both feed off each other. We learn each day. There's no such thing as having full knowledge of an item. And I think that the attitude that I've tried to teach is that we all make mistakes. If you show us, I say to him, you show me someone who says they've never made a mistake, we'll show you a liar. If you make something and it's wrong, that's okay, but it's admitting that it's wrong. It's saying, I've gone so far on this, it's no longer correct, let's start again. That is where I believe a lot of people fall down in life. You will try and fight a piece, try and keep going, or that'll do principle that a lot of people adapt to, like, oh, that'll do, let's just get out the door. Sadly, it won't do. Sadly, something has to be correct or not at all. There has been occasions where deadlines can be missed, but the product's got to be correct, and it's got to be correct first time.
Yes, and I think this is where you say to the customer, and you don't always have to tell the customer there's a mistake, but you can just say, look, this isn't, in my view, this isn't ready to leave the workshop. I'm sorry there's a delay. I think give them a manageable timeline moving forwards, which you certainly, I think, are good at doing, but you are just making sure then that is made and done correctly. Can I just ask you, so if a robot, so in the I can't think of it now, the work line, if you like, the production line, yes, I'm thinking of escalator kind of stuff. Then it's all standard stuff, robots are moving around and it's all, and what have you. So I imagine kind of clean, tidy, crisp, linear. Your workshop isn't like that.
Very different.
It's fantastic. You have a little display cabinet, you've got a cleaning area, you've got some micro, I know you've got like a magnifying glass to really finish stuff off. Can you say what is in your studio?
The key point is two jeweller's benches that consist of a table with a half moon cut. There is then a leather skin underneath, which collects all the pieces that are cut on the filings, which of course is paramount to be reused or recycled for financial reasons. Everything is done at that, the vast majority of pieces are done at that bench. The more you move to and from that bench, the more chance you've got of upsetting stones that are on the table. So paramount, that is where it happens. We have a melting area, a forge, which is a very key part at the moment for when people come in to see their sentimental jewellery melted down. It's a very emotional moment for them sometimes to actually see something that was once dear to them be molten down into a pool, but very, very shortly they will see that molten piece of metal be turned into something that they absolutely love. And then yes, there's a polishing room to give the final finish, and also a consultation room where I invite people to come along and discuss the piece that and
I've been in the whole process, and my engagement ring, and indeed the eternity ring, the 25th wedding anniversary, has clasps around, and I know that you've got something where you can really keep them working properly as clasps, but you define them down so they're not big lumpy clasps. So I've been through every area. I recommend Richard to you. Please do go and see him. Can you tell me your address again, because it does come up on the sat nav. But you drive through a business area, don't you? So can you just say, we've got a minute, if I'm driving, how do I find you?
So we're out in a business centre in Wivelsfield, just in between Haywards Heath and Burgess Hill, and I do operate by appointment only, just to ensure that all my customers get the correct amount of care. But I'm on a business park called Morehouse Business Centre, and that can be found just about a mile outside Haywards Heath, and we're in a little converted stable in there.
Yes, and haven't you got 2 rooms now or something?
Yes,
right?
About 2 or 3 years back, the premises doubled in size to just make things more comfortable for customers. Really, I'm trying to be very client focused. So it's people have often reported back to me that it isn't just the finished piece that they like so much. It's the journey of getting to the finished piece, and people are always welcome to come in and see their piece being made.
Yeah.
Fantastic. More than happy.
Fantastic. So I met you years ago. You're happily married. You were actually getting engaged or something when we first met.
10 years.
You've
been
got
married
a child
now, nearly.
and
2 children.
Two. There you are. Not catching up enough.
Yeah, the other one's 3 months old.
Oh yes. Actually, no, I do remember now. Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's been mine. Thank you, Sarah.
Do Google him. As I say, my jewellery has been looked after by Richard. He's cleaned it, he's mended it, and of course he has designed too. So, and it's much better than a robot.
Oh God, yeah.
Of course it is. It's relational. You can see he's a nice guy. So do go and see him. Bless you. Have a great week. And thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon. Join me next time. Thank you. Cool. Well done.